Hi everyone, my name is Nathan Hanthorn, and for my leadership presentation, I want to talk about a guy I met by the name of Eric Clark, someone who ended up shaping the direction of my entire career. And the crazy part is, our paths crossed in the most unexpected way. It wasn't through work, school, or any kind of networking. It happened out in the woods on a random day, and that moment changed everything for me. I was out riding RZRs, just a normal day, when a woman I ride with waved me down and asked if I could help this guy whose machine had completely died. I'm usually the one who gets stuck troubleshooting stuff on the trail, so I pulled over to give him a hand. At that point, he was just a stranger who needed help. There was nothing more to it. But right away, something about him stood out. Even stranded in the middle of nowhere, he stayed calm and respectful. No frustration, no attitude, no ego, just steady and honest. When someone carries themselves like that during something inconvenient, you notice it. It kind of tells you what kind of person they are without them saying anything at all. So once we got his machine running and started heading back, we started talking a little more. I asked him what he did for a living, and he told me he was one of the owners of Midstate Engineering. That grabbed my attention, so I asked what where they had done projects, and anywhere I might recognize. And that's when he said Subaru. The second he mentioned that, everything clicked for me, because at the time I was working there as an industrial maintenance technician, and as soon as we made that connection, the conversations just flowed. We talked about the plant, the work, the long shifts, all of it. And before we even reached the trailers, he said, if you ever want a job, reach out. He didn't know me at all, but he opened that door anyway. And that moment ended up changing everything for me. Later on, as I got to know him, I realized emotional intelligence is one of his biggest things he brings to the table. That's something our textbook talks a lot about. It's staying calm under pressure and communicating in a way that builds people up instead of tearing them down. And that's exactly how he leads. Even when I was brand new and messing things up, he never made me feel stupid. He just walked through it with me like it was no big deal. That's the kind of leadership people remember. Another thing the book talks about is values based leadership, and that fits him perfectly. He didn't offer me a job because he wanted something from me. He offered it because it's simply the right thing to do. You can tell his decisions come from who he is, not from his title. And that's a kind of leadership you don't forget. And once I joined Midstate, that's when I really saw his coaching style. He's not just the type of leader who dumps answers on you. Instead, he asks you questions that makes you think. What do you see happening? Or why do you think that's the issue? At first, it almost catches you off guard, but then you realize he's trying to build your confidence, not just fix the problem for you. It helped me develop way faster. One of the biggest impacts he had on me was the level of trust he created. I never felt embarrassed asking questions. I never felt like I was in the way, and early on, he trusted me with real responsibilities. When someone sees potential in you before you see it in yourself, that pushes you to grow. That trust changed the very way I approach my work. Because of all that, his leadership didn't just make me better technically, it genuinely changed me as a person. I went from doubting myself to actually seeing a future in this field. It went from just doing a job to realizing I could build a real career. He played a huge part in that shift. One of the biggest lessons I learned from him is that leadership isn't a title, and our textbook backs that up. It's how you treat people, how you handle problems, and the example you set when nobody's forcing you to. Eric never had Eric never had to say he was a leader. He just led by how he treated people every single day. It still blows my mind that a simple trail ride turned into a mentorship that changed my entire career path. It really showed me how one unexpected moment, one random meeting can completely shift your future. And honestly, I'm grateful it happened exactly the way it did. Thanks for listening to my presentation and letting me share that story. I appreciate your time and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.